Well, hey guys, welcome back to another My First Time here at the Indoor Promised Land. I promised you guys I'd get you someone special to talk about their first time, and what do you know? We got a special guest today. Grower Joe decided he would come along with us and tell us a little bit about his first time. How you doing, Grower Joe?
Oh, you got me now?
I got you now. Yeah.
I said, how are you doing, man? Thanks for having me on the show.
That's great, man. Hey, it's all right. I always have the technical hiccups. It's kind of like my brand, I come with tech issues. So, I was just telling these guys that I've been interviewing people, proven growers across the internet, asking them to tell me and my viewers about their first time growing. Now, I mean, there could be some, salacious details or, a little bit of like humbling experience as we look back. How many grows do you think you've done now, if you had to guess?
That's a good question, man. Are we talking like full cycles? Are we talking like the amount of number of plants? Like what?
Yeah, how many like full cycles have you run? You've been
Full,
doing this for a while, right?
full cycles, man. I get about probably about 4 or 5 a year. And I've been doing it for, what is it now? I've been on here now for 3 years, so 4 years.
All
So
right.
what's the math on that, man? It's not a lot, but it is a lot at the same time, right? Because I'm like anybody that's in here watching this. I'm just a regular dude in my basement that decided I'm gonna learn and teach myself how to get high off my own stuff over here.
That's right.
Which entails me growing my own cannabis, man. So it's been a bit. I'm getting better and better every day, and I'm just going to consistently get better as we go, right? So
that sounds like it's 20 something grows, man. That's like a good log. Most people have a hard time keeping up with like 5 a year, especially those early years. You maybe get like 3 or 4 in, depending how well you're doing. But I wanted to talk to you about your first time, and I have to say, like, I cheated. I did a little bit of cramming for this test with you. I saw you a couple weeks back doing a live, and you were talking about this very thing, and that's why I thought this might be a good synergy. Before I pop the question, I got to tell you, the level of humility with which you were talking about your first grow is something which I do not see, at least from 420 community YouTube creators, people who are known for growing, people who are known for teaching. And I was really struck by that. And I think that's why, like, we've never really talked before. I watch your show. I don't know if you watch mine, but I've seen you around, and I thought, like, wow, that guy's really got it. So can you tell me about your first grow? What was that like?
First off, I appreciate what you're saying, man, because like I just try to really just kind of keep it 100% over here, man. And I'm from the Maritimes, so 100% to me means just like if I fuck up, I'm going to show you where I fucked up. And if I screw up, I'm going to tell you, hey, don't do this because I did it and it kind of fucked up. But we got talking about my first grow over on my live show, man, because people are asking about drying and curing cannabis. And obviously we all have our different ways of doing it. But the neat thing about my first grow, man, is I started with a fucking $100 light on Amazon.
Nice.
Started with auto flowers because I didn't want to have a timer. I didn't have the money to get it. I started with Pro Mix BX, which I continue to grow with today, man. I started with just kind of the essentials. It's if you're going to get drunk, you're going to get some alcohol in a cup. And I was going to grow, so I was just going to get the simple essentials: seeds, a light, a room, and soil, man. And that's all I really had when I started. And then I found this weird community on here that we're all starting to grow. I mean, John, you, myself, there's so many other accounts on here that are just sharing their grows. And I think my first time was shared on Instagram. I started sharing my pictures and sharing my videos and sharing my story. And I was kind of hiding my face. And eventually I started to show it. But my first grow was pretty funny, guys, because we just found out that I actually dried and grew and cured all in the same tent. So I would have a grow on the go with my lights on, and then I'd have the harvest from before drying above those set lights.
Yeah.
That's how stupid I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that dries them pretty fast, getting them up above. What was that $100 light you said you had? Was that some T5s, or was that like
I think the name was like Burial or Bella. I ended up passing them on to a buddy. He passed them on to a buddy. And these lights are still in circulation. People are still growing weed with this $100 light that I bought 4.5 years ago. So it's kind of fucking funny, man. Just a little Burple, Amazon Light for $100. I don't even think they sell them purple anymore. Maybe they do.
Oh no, yeah, you just dated yourself with the blurple because that was like kind of some still new technology, some years back. Of course, everyone's moved on from them, especially people in the YouTube community, because it's difficult to get a good like video or camera shot under purple like that. It's crazy, but it did grow stuff, and you kind of nailed it. You hit a couple points there where just keeping it simple, the bare essentials, right? Just to get started. Why go all in? Why go thousands of dollars in? Why collect all the equipment you don't know how to use yet when all you're trying to do is to finish? That's really all you're trying to do is finish. You finished and you harvested
100%.
Your first grow.
That's the important thing, right? Because like it didn't really matter what happened at the end, because all I was trying to do was compensate how much I was smoking with trying to grow a little bit to kind of take care of that cost. So I think it was like $400, and I was spending like double that at the time. And I transferred that over into grow equipment. $400 worth of grow equipment wasn't that much stuff at the time. Now you can get like a full setup for $400. Now
Right.
I started, man, and I'm like, whatever I get is going to be awesome. But it turned out to be decent, man. I got decent buds. They were fluffy for sure, but they were covered in trichomes. They had a smell to them that I've never experienced before, because all the weed that I've been getting was from either the black market allegedly, or I was getting it from my dispensary, which didn't have much flavor either. So I remember chopping down this plant. I remember being so proud of it, man. And then we came to smoke it, and me and my wife got so fucking high off it. We got higher than we've ever gotten before. And I continue to say that, like, maybe there's this weird connection with the plant and me, and if you want to think all crazy like that, but it really did happen, man. I got as high as I probably ever got in my life. And then I fell in love with it. Like, my wife and I talked about it down here the other day. This is like the longest I've done something consistently this much that I've like been in love with. Right. So it captured me, man. And I met a lot of cool people on these platforms, and I continue to meet them, and I'm starting to like meet them in person. And that's so fucking cool, because your first time can go from just learning to like smoking with buddies that grow on here. And it's so fucking cool, man. You're going to experience it too. You're going to have a guest on here someday. You're going to love it. And then eventually you're going to smoke weed together, and you're like, that's crazy, man. This is the world we live in now, right?
Yeah, it's certainly, here down in America, it's states are opening up, it's become at least a little easier, a little less illegitimate to be able to talk about these things like in an online community, although some people out there still live in fear. There's a direct line between that first time and the 25 grows you said you've had since then. Did you do any like experimenting or fucking around like back in college or high school, or did you like throw no seeds out in like the mom's garden or underneath the stairs?
Man, like my first time getting high, man, was with my brother. My parents were away. I've told this story a million times on my podcast, but I'll brief it up for you. My brother was basically getting a bunch of girls from high school together to have pretty much a high orgy, from what I could see being in grade 9. I mean, I didn't experience that type of energy before, but these guys are coming in hot, and they get me high before this kind of thing goes down. Now, I was not getting involved because I was just a young kid back then thinking girls were crazy, right? But these guys had a time, and I was high as a kite. They put me in the bubble. So they were talking to me like, what the hell, man? So I didn't get high all the way through high school until grade 12, man, until I started experimenting again. And then I only did it really for a little bit. And then when I met my wife, me and my wife started to puff at nighttime. And then I really started seeing the benefits of how it would calm me down, how it would really dial me in and give me some creativity that I never really had, right? And then now it's used every day medically.
Yeah. You mentioned it about your first grow. You were putting it, uploading it to like YouTube or Instagram. You were making videos about it. What were the sort of things you said about your grow? I mean, you said you're proud about it. Like, did you feel like you were the top of Fuck Mountain? You were king of the hill, or,
like at first I was like, oh fuck, man, I'm growing like the best shit, right? Because I didn't know any growers, right? Where I come from, growers wouldn't let you in their garden. So
right.
I just found this Instagram thing. And this was when it was really small. Like there's a lot of people that have come and have gone, right? And there's a lot of us that are still here, and some of them are watching this for sure because the communities are intertwined. People that watch your stuff watch my stuff.
Oh yeah, lots of crossover. It's good.
Yeah, where I was getting with that is, wait, am I high? Am I on the right track for this question? What was the question again?
Yeah, we were talking about like you were showing your stuff and it was your first time, so you were kind of like gauging that with low expectations or no previous knowledge. It sounds like your first one was successful, like you got high off of it, but do you I remember your show a couple weeks ago, and you were kind of laughing about how, now you actually know a thing. You've done it like 20 something times. You've learned from a lot of growers. We've had time and experience to build our skills. But like, yeah, I remember my first grow. I was like, oh, look, I'm the shit. I'm gonna be like El Chapo of weed. It's like, no, it's hard work, man. It's gardening.
It's a lot of work, man.
It's dirty work.
Humbling too, because like you could have the best fucking start to a grow and you could be a week out and something fucking go wrong, or you could be getting ready to flip the flower and fucking something goes wrong. And it's like, it's very stressful, but it's also very rewarding too, right? Like when you can hand some of this to your buddy and he's high as a kite down in your basement and like, what the fuck was that, man? And you're like, that's fucking fresh weed, man. Like that's fresh grown, cured weed. You're getting every ounce of energy that's coming out of that bud, right? Where smoking stuff that's been sitting on the shelf is just not the same deal, man. I was the same way though. I was the kingpin, so we were both kingpin, dude. We were like the top dogs, man, until we started finding more accounts, right? And realized, hey, this could get a lot better. And that's when I kind of fell in love with it.
Well, that's like me, when I first actually got like probably by my third or fourth grow, my first real good harvest, no problems the whole way through. I blew my own fucking mind. And even looking back, like I've done much better since then, as would be expected. So is your quality different now than it was then? You're not using the same process. You're not using the same bulb. You're not doing autos right now. Like what's different?
I think the biggest thing that I changed, man, was just consistency and trying to like really control my environment, right?
There it is.
So I document like everything pretty much. I'm filming in there 95% of the time. Now I should be filming probably more, and I probably should be even filming like behind the scenes stuff, even things like this, right? Just so that we can really show everything. But I remember like at first I really didn't take it as serious, man. So I wasn't like consistent on my pH. I wasn't consistent on adjusting my light height. I wasn't consistent on my humidity. I'd let it run out every now and then. But now I'm in there every single day, sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day, even longer if I want to get away, right? But I'm in there making sure humidity's good. I'm making sure temperatures are good. And sometimes you even adjust it to the certain extent of where maybe your heater can't get you to that temperature, so you move it a little closer or you back it up a little bit. So some of these tricks, right? And I think the more time that you spend in there, just like if you compared it to a sport, the more you practice, the better you're going to get, right? I'm definitely not a pro yet. I don't even think I'm at an Olympic level yet, but I'm getting better every day, man. And the nugs like went from boof to bang, man. So like they're hard as a rock now. They're covered in crystal, man. The flavors are amazing and the high intensity is through the roof. So I can't complain, man.
Right. And your level of experience and the way that you're able to talk about it and share that with people and help people, it really does speak to being consistent, and not just that, not just not failing the whole time, but exceeding, doing better. And when we have failures, like what? We learn from that. We take a note. Hopefully we know what caused it. Hopefully it was something obvious or accidental or couldn't be planned. But, problems do happen, and not every grow is going to be better than the last. If you're helping a lot of people because you show your grows, and you're also very available to people to talk about. If you guys don't know, Grower Joe's over from Basement Grow Show, right? And I've been seeing you a little more live lately, but you've always sort of had that, casual format where you interact with an audience, you help people solve some problems. Let's hop in a time machine. We're going to take you back 25 grows ago. You now, knowing what you know now, what would you say to Grower Joe 25 grows ago? What would you maybe say? Hey, look out for this, or don't worry about that. Like, what would be your advice to, some years ago, Joe?
Oh, geez, man, that's a good question. Hey, man, love firing the questions here. Honestly, I'd probably just say like, just get started, man. Like, I spent a lot of time at the beginning just like searching through accounts, finding people like Mr. Canuck, Seed to Stoned, And then the guys that I came along a little bit after that was like Rob from CLTV, Mr. Grow It, channels like that. I would say get engaged in the community really early. Let people really know who you are, man, and stay straight to that. But interact with people and build true friendships. The growing's gonna come, man. If you love growing, it's gonna come, and the community's gonna help you get there because everybody's got an answer for everything. But real friends, man, are actually communicating behind the scenes in the DMs. I've got friendships on this platform that I think will never go away. I know this is about growing, but so much more than that right now, guys. And we've got platforms, whether you're big or small, whether you got 100 people or 100 million, man. We need to continue to like be positive about this plan, keep growing, keep sharing, because the more cool people that do this, the more normal people that do this, the better off we're going to be, man. And the more legal this plant's going to get. So that's realistically what we're doing at the end of the day. I'm just a fucking grower that's hopefully going to motivate more people to see cannabis in a positive light. And it sounds fucking crazy, but I didn't know it was really that until I continued to email people and interview people and talk to people. And people tell you, right? Like, this is what we need to do, guys. We're all in this together. Like I had Jorge Cervantes on my show today, who I never ever thought I'd have a chance to talk to. I mean,
Cool. Yeah, the guy with the book.
Right?
We've all read the book. Yep.
And it's like that stuff's happening, man. And then behind the scenes, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. It's like, let's just keep sharing this. Let's keep getting people on here to talk about their first time. So someone in the comments can be like, you know what? I'm going to start my first time. I'm going to buy the $100 light. I got $200 right now. Let's get it going, right? And you're going to get that back in return because that $200 is going to turn into a pound, and then you're going to be on your way, right? Then you can start dabbling and changing it up. So I would tell Grower Joe, man, get started earlier. Get in that garden, man, and pop some beans.
Yeah, 3 months from now, you'll wish you started today. You know, that's the truth of it.
That's awesome, dude. It's so true.
Well, it sounds like you took your own advice. You know, you must have taken that time trip back and spoken to your previous self because you've really done just that. The advice you've given, get in the middle of a boat, get involved in a community. I mean, that's like the definition of what you've done. You really do reach a lot of people. So, you know, that's clearly the pattern to your success. And I think, you know, people who have learned or been encouraged, being reminded along the way from like your tutelage, your instruction, even just you coming on and sharing your life, like, you know, I feel like that is the best advice. And for you, that's been epic because we see how many people you reach. Speaking of which, like, I don't want to take up too much of your time because you have a live show you're doing like in half an hour.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to say about your first grow?
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. I mean, my first grow was the best grow I ever had, man. It's one that you're gonna continue to chase, right? Because that's the inner grower, man. That's the guy that's like, he's the guy that wants to grow. He's the guy that pushed you into it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, man, let's just keep doing this, guys. Keep sharing this. Make sure you hit that like button right now and make sure you subscribe to this channel. And leave a comment. Let me know if you want me to bring New York John onto my show. Put that in the comments.
Ooh, wow, tempting. Well, I really do appreciate the time that you've brought. You know, certainly we know it's valuable. After hours, evenings, you know, we've all got families, we've all got jobs. You know, you've said the growing was the longest thing that you've done, like the longest hobby. And that's true for me too. You kind of hit me with that. Like, that's true. It continues to be a hobby. Some days it feels like a chore because you got to show up whether you're ready for it or not. But usually by the end of it, we're pretty happy with what we got. And I hope there's a grower who hasn't grown yet, who's looking at this now and seeing Grower Joe and where he's gone with it and seeing me and where I've gone with it. And I hope that you've at least been inspired that, yeah, start today, start tomorrow. Keep it simple. Don't go all in. Get in the middle of a community, just like Joe said. And I think you'll be well on your way to talking about your 25th grow a couple years from now. So, Joe, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, under Basement Grow Show, and then you can find me over on Twitch, guys. Usually every Sunday. That's called Canaflix. That's a talk show over there where we talk to pretty much anybody that's related to cannabis. It's pretty cool. It's not just growing; it kind of can go everywhere. So yeah, you can follow me over there, guys, and keep tuning into shows like this.
Hey, man, thanks a bunch. And guys, look, if you've seen me, you probably already know Joe. But if you don't know Joe, go over to Basement Grow Show. click that like and subscribe. You got to hit that notification bell because he's been doing more live stuff, and you're going to want to know impromptu when that's coming up, and that's the only way to get to know.
100%.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate your time, man. Hope your last grow is as good as your first. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. That's awesome, dude. Good show, man. I love
I
your
never
background